trash. Something must be definitely up with the software. I just couldn't do it. I think I may have a bit of a problem. So in this video, I wanted to rank all of the headphones that I've tried over the last 2 years, categorizing them by price, and then putting them on a scale from best to worst within their individual category. So ultimately, you can make the decision on which set of workout headphones would be the right choice for you. Starting with the budget-friendly category, which caps out around $150. First off, we have the original wired headphones. Trash.
What?
Drop these in the do not consider category. There are just so many other alternatives out there. The cord gets tangled up, they don't have any noise cancellation, and the sound quality is nowhere near the competition. They were great 10 years ago, but now it's all about the wireless Bluetooth game. The next step up from the wired headphones were actually the AirPods Gen 1. When these came out, they changed the game for wireless earbuds. They were literally everywhere.
Solo pods. Yeah, another pod member of the elite.
And what made these so special was the fact that they were extremely portable, had decent sound quality, and they came with a rechargeable case, which allowed them to have pretty good battery life. The only bad thing about them is that they did look kind of weird with the long stem hanging out from your ear. However, I do think there are now higher quality options that also still fit within that budget-friendly category. First are the Beats Studio Buds. I love these headphones when they first came out. They are a lot smaller and compact in size, they have an average level of noise cancellation, and they have a good balance of sound quality for a reasonable price. In my opinion, they are probably a step or two above the original AirPods. The only thing I didn't like about the Beats Studio Buds are the fact that they don't have any physical volume button, and they don't have that in-ear auto detect feature because they don't have the H1 chip similar to the AirPods Pro. Now, the other alternative for the budget-friendly category would be these Jabra Active Elite 75Ts. Yeah, that's a mouthful. I actually ended up learning about these because I left my AirPods Pro at home when I was out on a trip, and I didn't want to necessarily pay the full price for another one. So I went to Best Buy and found these. Honestly, they felt really comfortable when I put them in my ear, and the sound quality in combination with the active noise cancellation was actually surprisingly really good. They work with both Apple and Android devices, and what I really thought was great was having the standalone app that could be used to tweak those various headphone and EQ settings for different listening scenarios. Jabra may not be that super popular name like Apple or Samsung, but I was pretty impressed with what they came out with. One thing to note is I do think Jabra is phasing out the Active 75Ts, and they introduced the Jabra Elite 7 Actives, which are supposed to be the upgraded model with a slimmer design, better noise isolation, and a longer battery life. They still need to change that name though. So if I was to choose a low budget set of wireless headphones to use for when I work out, I definitely would probably be between the Beats Studio Buds and the Jabra Elite 7 Actives. Now, if we were to move up a tier to the best all-around mid-level price range, that's where the number of available options get a bit wider. And to make this easier, I'm going to actually split this category up by operating system. So the best mid-tier headphones for Apple and the best for Android. On the Android side, you have the Google Pixel Buds Pro and the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro 2. Now, the Google Pixel Buds Pro came out the same year the Pixel 7 and the 7 Pro came out, and they were supposed to be Google's main competition to the AirPods Pro. If you want me to be honest, they really weren't my favorite. The noise cancellation was definitely not as strong in noisy environments, as I found myself having to increase the volume for whatever I was listening to just to get a stronger noise isolation. The transparency mode was also a little bit muddled to where you really couldn't tell if there was a clear distinction between transparency mode and active noise cancellation. I'm also not the biggest fan of the form factor, as it is a bit larger and fatter when trying to put it in my ear, and I just didn't feel it was that much of a snug fit. Now, don't get me wrong, they're definitely not terrible headphones. The battery life is awesome at 11 hours of listening time and a total of 31 hours with the case. I also love how they incorporated the swipe volume control into each of the earbuds, and the sound and mic quality are pretty good as well. However, I just don't know if they are better than the Galaxy Buds Pro 2. I think the sound for both media and call quality are just a bit more punchier on this, and the noise cancellation is fairly better at blocking out noise. One thing to note is that even though the Pro 2s are about the same size as the Pixel Buds Pro, they just feel so much more comfortable in the ears. It almost feels like they're like molded to my ear shape. You also technically get a smaller form factor given the case is a more compact square shape. So for me, the only annoying thing about the Galaxy Buds Pro 2 is the fact that if you don't have a Samsung phone, you do have to download a separate Galaxy Wear app to access the headphone's full capabilities. But once you download the app, you have full customizability from setting touch controls to turning on the feature that reads out incoming notifications. So unless you were a Google loyalist, I think that the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro 2 would be your best workout headphone of choice within that mid-tier category if you have an Android device. Now for you Apple fanatics out there, you have the AirPods Pro Gen 2 and the Beats Fit Pro. Now this is going to be a close one because I honestly love both sets of headphones, especially when it comes to working out. They both have the spatial audio capability and a similar battery life which goes past 24 hours. But the Beats Fit Pro have that particular beat sound with a punchy bass and good quality sound range. They also have a really cool wingtip design which helps the earbuds stay securely in my ear, and for me do so the best out of all the headphones that I've tested. One of the wingtips did end up ripping, which I still have no clue how, so that kind of sucked a bit. The AirPods Gen 2 on the other hand have some of the best sound quality and noise cancellation that I've ever tested, which is most likely due to their newly included H2 chip. You can now also finally adjust the volume of your music by swiping up and down on the stem, unlike the Beats Fit Pro where you still have to use the control button. The case is also upgraded with the wireless charging capability, and you can find it through the Find My app. Actually, thinking about it now, I'd probably lean a little bit more towards the AirPods Pro Gen 2 if I was an Apple user, unless you really wanted that wingtip for that ultimate snug fit in your ears. Now for that big spender premium tier category, which include the Bose Quiet Comfort 2s, as well as the over-the-ear headphones such as the Apple AirPods Max and the Bose 700. I'm going to give a hot and maybe controversial take here. I personally dislike the idea of working out with over-the-ear headphones. In my mind, they're just way too expensive to be getting all sweaty and gross during a workout. I know some people are obsessed with using them at the gym, especially fitness influencers on Instagram, but for me, I just couldn't do it. Let me know in the comments, are you one of those crazy people who use over-the-ear headphones in the gym? Well, I included them anyway in this comparison to be fair, and technically they do fit in that top tier category. Starting off with the Bose Quiet Comfort 2s, these headphones are pretty good. Noise cancellation is top tier. The transparency mode is a bit muffled, but still does a reasonable job of letting outside noise in. And what I really love about these headphones is how easy it is to control your music and phone calls, as there's enough surface area to swipe up and down to control volume on the actual earbud itself. Bose also provides a simple to use app to make tweaks to the sound quality and settings of each earbud. And the only two things that bugged me were the size of the case, which is the biggest out of all the earbuds I tested. And for some reason, getting these to initially pair with my two phones was a pain. And I've had these twice and I had the same issue, so something must be definitely up with the software when you first pair the headphones. And of course, the king Mac Daddy of over-the-ear headphones, the AirPods Max, probably the most comfortable and immersive sound experience I've ever tested. The ear cushions are super soft, noise cancellation is flawless, and the spatial audio is amazing. The only knocks I have on this headphones are this dumb case that looks like a purse, and you really can't turn them off, and it's just crazy expensive. I think other great alternatives are definitely the Bose 700s and the Sony WH-1000XM Mark Vs. I haven't tried the recent editions of those headphones, but I did use both of their predecessors and they were awesome, so I can only imagine that their upgraded models are even better. I still wouldn't use it for the gym, but that's your choice. Okay, now that I've gone through all of the categories, let's go ahead and go through how I'd rank from worst to best, from S to D, S being the top and D being the lowest. Starting off with the lowest, have to be the AirPods Original Gen 1. I think there's just better options out there. Sitting in the C category, and I think it's more C and B, the Google Pixel Buds Pro. I wasn't impressed. I know that they're having software updates with spatial audio, but right now sits within that B to C category. Next one, I would probably say the Jabra 75Ts, or I guess you could say the 7 Elites. These were definitely a really good pair of reliable headphones, good budget as well. Definitely would put those there, and also would probably put the Beats Studio Buds. I really love these headphones when I had them. I think they're like the perfect replacement and upgrade for the original AirPods. Then moving up, I will probably, this is gonna be a hot take, the Beats Fit Pro. This is gonna be tough because these would have been in the A category, but because the wingtips broke, I'm gonna have to leave them in the B. It's gonna be in the B category. Then I would probably do definitely the Galaxy Buds Pro 2 and the AirPods Pro 2. And then S, honestly, I would say the Bose Quiet Comfort 2s. I know you guys are waiting for me. These, of course, would go in the S category. I just don't use them for working out, so I will put them to the side as an honorary mention for those who like using them. This definitely would be like a top tier S version if you wanted to use them for working out. So ultimately, I hope this helps you make a decision. If I was to choose, I definitely stick within these top three. Most likely, probably the AirPods Pro or the Quiet Comfort 2s. They just work really well and have great noise cancellation, great sound quality. And if you have an Android, then really that's kind of the choice to get, is the Bose. And if you're interested in watching a deeper dive into any one of these headphones, check out this playlist I made for you right here. As always, stay healthy, be happy, and embrace the hype.